Boom! That's right, vintage t-shirt back from the early episode. Welcome teachers, I'm now the ESL Trailblazer. Let's make something happen. I'm retiring this t-shirt for this episode, episode 87, lesson idea, ethical consumption. Yes, that's right, but boom, I'm gonna hit you today at your conscious, okay? And your students, who are mostly younger, not necessarily so, but most of the time, have a lot to say and opinions about this topic. So I'm here to fill you in on some ideas and vocabulary and questions, and I got functional language for you to boot. So prepare. This episode is going to be jam-packed with great ideas for you to use in your classroom to get your students talking, because that's what they want to do. That's why they're there. They need to practice. You need to give them the opportunities. Welcome to another episode of ESL Trailblazer. Let's get started. I'll fill you in on all the goods right after this intro. Welcome back. Let's get started without further ado. Remember that everything I'm sharing with you today will be in a separate lesson idea on the website, and you can get all the updates to anything that's posted there on nandis.eu with signing up for the newsletter. You just submit your email, the link is below, ba-boom, hit me with that newsletter and I will deliver it to you so you don't miss a thing. But let's get on with the lesson idea. Ethical consumption. And remember, this topic is not just one lesson, okay, everybody? You can divert into many different directions based on how you want to do it and what kind of topics you want to cover. So what kind of topics are we talking about here? So I'll give you a few ideas on how to start. You can talk about sustainable living. You can discuss eco-friendliness, bioproduction, all natural products, or minimalism versus consumerism. You know, that's also a red hot, steaming topic right now that's being talked about in different generations, different cultures. People from different countries will have different viewpoints. That's why it's so great to bring it up and get your students talking about it, okay? But that's just an idea of how to get you started. If you want your class to get started, a way to start the way I like it, my vintage, we're going with vintage, that's my word for today's lesson episode. My vintage way of starting is always with a quote. You can find many. There'll be one in my link in the lesson idea that I'll post later on. But find a quote that you think will get students talking and get a reaction from them on what they think about it, just to get the ball rolling. The ball can also keep rolling a bit faster by asking your students to think about the latest or the last 3 items that they've purchased, and put some questions on the board on their projector to get them thinking about the things that they purchased. Where did they buy? Where is it made? How much did they pay for it? Who produced it? And is it an eco-friendly product? That should get them thinking about the topic a little bit deeply. There's some very nice vocabulary that can come out of the feedback that you get from students, or from any reading or listening material. I recommend some stuff that can show people's different perspectives on these topics of ethical consumption and how we shop especially. I'll post that in the link below, but you can find your own very easily. Listening, YouTube, great one that you can use for, just exposing, good word here, exposing your students to a few different viewpoints on the topic so they have something to work with and base their own ideas on. That's what they need here, because this topic is a little bit quite wide and they might not know where to get started. So you got to give them, a few, what's the right word to use here? A head start, or kind of a base for where to start, a foundation, so to speak. That might work well. Okay, so from those questions that I just told you where they think about their own purchases, you can then ask them to rank certain ideas related to ethical consumption. For example, animal welfare, company ethics, environmental impact, or product sustainability. Another great vocabulary word, okay? Ask them to, workers' rights is another one. Ask them to rank those in importance for them, and then maybe ask them how likely are they to care about these issues? Which ones do they care about the most? And which issues do they think might force them to change their habits? Again, you can give them a list if they're lacking ideas, but try and ask them to brainstorm about what the habit changes can be in relation to this ethical consumption topic that you're focusing on. So here are some ideas. Shopping less, using a reusable cup, vocabulary word, okay? Refusing to buy from a certain brand or company, doing research to see how the company produces their products, what's their environmental impact, or what are the workers' rights for that company. Okay, let's make something happen. All right, carry on living the way you are. No, don't make any changes. Say why, maybe defend yourself or make an argument. And finally, maybe to just buy eco-friendly products in general. Okay, you can ask them to rank and compare and contrast viewpoints with which ones, maybe depending on where they live or where they come from or their background, which issues matter to them the most. Probably there should be, well, most definitely different perspectives on all of those, okay? There you go. I got your ideas. I got your questions. I got some vocabulary for you. Phrasal verbs, cut back on, okay? Break down, take away, to go, throw away. Vocabulary, disposable, reusable, single use. And again, you can extract, you like that word, huh? Boom. You can extract more from the listening or reading that you choose. Again, Google hits you with plenty of ideas there. Finally, I would also like to mention that this is the perfect topic for creating a debate scenario in your classroom by giving students a kind of scenario or situation where people can choose to be eco-friendly or not based on their situation, and then asking them to argue both sides of it. Okay, because remember, we can buy eco-friendly products, but they're going to be much more expensive. Not everybody will be able to afford them. So you know, it's a bit of a nuanced topic, and you can create some good debate sentences to get people talking. And that is the ideal opportunity to get your students to practice functional language. Uppercut! Yes, functional language, very important for speaking. In this case, expressing viewpoints and supporting your opinion. You can brainstorm that language, have it written down as a teacher. I have a lesson idea that covers all of that language on the website that you can use as a reference point. But brainstorm it from your students, or fill in whatever knowledge is missing there, if the upper, intermediate, or advanced, and then, you know, encourage them to use that while they're doing the debate. What else do you need? I'm done here. See ya next week for another episode. I hope you enjoyed this one. Your viewership matters. Thanks again, and take care. Make sure you share. See you guys later.